Okay, hello, this is Brandon again. This is our GPS lap timer code. This is the code that tracks laps and lap times and the racetrack itself. It keeps track of what it looks like, how it's drawn, and then also creates the start and finish line and tracks the car going around that track. This is the main function right here you see on screen. It's not that big, it's less than 100 lines of code, but the whole program is like 500 lines, although I'm probably going to make it shorter because there's a lot of functions I don't need in here. This was code that I found online from someone's GitHub, and I basically took their code and then had to modify it heavily to get it to work with our system. So the program really starts right here. This is where it waits for a GPS fix. It's listening to the CAN bus header right here, and when it finds the GPS packets, it waits until it says that there is a GPS fix, or also known as just accurate data. And then after that, once it finds the fix, it's going to establish a start line automatically. Later on, we want the user to be able to define or decide where the start line should go and when it should be defined, because we don't want to turn the car on and then within 30 seconds have the start line just be created wherever the car is. So we're going to make that user definable, and then so once it creates the start finish line, it's going to enter basically an infinite loop, and it's going to stay in this loop until the car turns off. It's going to read data again from the CAN bus. It's looking for those GPS packets, or the CAN bus packets that contain the GPS data. And it's going to run this run function, which I'm probably going to separate out into a bunch of other functions because it does a lot of stuff. But what this does is, this is the one that tracks the laps and lap times. After that, this is where we store the data. We store it in a structure, and then this is where we send the data off. So that's really it. There's not much to it, at least the main function, but if you scroll down, you'll be able to see more details. So this read CAN bus data function is the one that reads the CAN bus data, or the data on the CAN bus, and this is specifically looking for GPS packets, which have been assigned the hex value 34, and it puts that all the GPS data into a frame, or a struct, and then we have like the established start line function, the run function, and these are commented out because, like I said, they don't work yet. I deleted like a lot of the stuff, like I deleted this value, this value, stuff like that. So those aren't implemented yet, but they do have the logic there, so they actually do track. This actually does create a start line, and this actually does track lap times. And then there's a distance calculation function. We use a lot of algebra in this because we have to draw a track and draw a perpendicular line to that track and things of that nature. So we use like sine and cosine. We use like point slope form, which is somewhere right here, and then y equals mx plus b, things like that. This is where we create the line intersection. This is a function that finds the point of intersection between the two lines, and all this is used for just basically tracking when the car passes the finish line. It's much more complex than I anticipated. And then just below this is just a bunch of utility functions that I don't really need to go into.